Hey, all right, I'm live. All right. Hello, dear Starshines. Christina here with Lightbody Academy and Rise of the Multidimensional Human. Welcome to today's lunchtime chats. We have some interesting things to be talking about, as always. And the things that I have on the topic list are why I'm going to talk about why simply raising your vibration is not enough. And this is like a really big deal for a lot of the light workers and spiritual communities. So I'm really happy to be having an opportunity to discuss that. And then what you can do when you come across some conspiracy information that just scares the heck out of you or just really wrenches your energy and you can't shake it. So I'm going to talk about that. And then I have dear Starshine here. She's like, Christina, help. I feel like I'm on a crazy roller coaster and can't get off. Welcome, welcome, everybody. I'm Christina. I am an acceleration expert, and I'm here to talk about topics and issues that are important to healers, seekers, way showers of the new paradigm. And I am able to take the conversation to a whole nother level. So for your, to provide the perspective of liberated, liberation and sovereignty. So welcome everybody to the chats. I'm going to pause and pour my tea while I wait for all the crew to get here. Hello, darling Starshines. I see some of you are popping up already. Hello, darlings. Hello, Gabriella, and Nasika, and Hodai, and Carol. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to have you. Now I have a helper with me today. But I don't know if she's coming on here or not. So she will have to text me to let me know if she's coming on screen with me or not. And because she's going to try to help me read the comments and stuff like this. So dear sister Starshine Lori, who helps me administer the Rise of the Multidimensional Human group, is here to help with the chats to see if we can just smooth things out. Because what happens is that when I activate the lenses and start sharing on the levels that we're sharing on, my mind is more in the abstract and not so much in the linear. So it's really kind of funny. It's funny watching me try to read the comments because usually I read them wrong. So she's going to help me keep it straight, just like she does in other aspects of Lightbody. So darling, you'll just have to text me, I think, for us to communicate. And okay, so we have our moment. Yes. Okay. Shall I bring you up? Shall I bring you forward, Lori? You let me know. And in the meantime, I'm going to work at my foggy camera thing here. You know, I've seen this happen a few times. I'm going to have to exit and come back. So I'll be back in 1 second. Better? Haha, it's better. Okay. She says she's coming on. All right. So let me go ahead and do that. I think this is how it works. I'm going to say add to live stream. Oh, there she is. Hello, Lori. Welcome, welcome.
Trying to figure out where I go.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Lori. She's my co-administrator in the group, and she helps, you know, us keep things straight here at Lightbody. And so what I'm going to do is like I'll go ahead and do full screen to do the activation stuff and that kind of thing. But when it comes to reading the questions and conversation, she's going to help me, and she's going to help read them out to me so we can you know, be fluid in that way. All right, Lori. Well, good to have you here, darling. We'll be seeing you in I don't know, whenever I get done with the activation part. Okay. See you later. So she'll be hanging out backstage while we do this. In the meantime, let's say hello to darling Shelly and Louise. Hello, Spiritbound. Great handle. Hello. And hello, darling Tammy. Good to have you here. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Can you guys feel me on these topics today? Yeah, I've been, hold on, let me sip my tea. It's been interesting watching the collective energy It's been very up and down. And that's why I put in that last piece, because when I got that message, it was like, yeah, absolutely. I can see how someone can feel like life is this crazy roller coaster and you can't get off right now, right? So I want to talk about things that we could be doing, ways to resource, just different stuff, how to handle and process and integrate this onset of a new reality that we're heading towards as a collective. Now, many of us are living on the new earth and our frequency already. Many of us here, especially in Lightbody and in the group, we're already there. And now it's just a matter of time, because we're cutting edge. That's why we're there. But now it's just a matter of time for the collective to catch up and be with us. And many of you are on that boat. You are way showers. You are hip to all the stuff that I'm talking about already, except, when you heard me talk about it, was the first time you've heard it put in those kinds of words, So it's like, in a lot of ways, I'm not really telling you guys anything that you don't already know. I'm just reminding and deepening and resonating on those levels, so we can, and activating, right? So we can enhance this frequency. Because the more we do things on a collective level, the more potency we're going to have in this world and shifting the realities, right? So let's talk about that. Let's dive in and talk about that, how we're going to do it, and what is on the horizon here. All right, let me get a good color for our activation. I kind of want to go for fire red, and I'm blurry again. All right, one moment. I'm blurry again, so I'm going to pop out and pop back in. Ta-da! Okay, I'll try not to move too much. All right, so our activation. So this model that I draw to activate the dimensions, the interdimensional realms within the biosuit, comes from a dear sister starshine who many of you know and perhaps have worked with, by the name of Barbara Hand-Clow. She is a prolific author, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. Just the whole body of work that she brought forward to this planet is extraordinary. This is just one small piece of the bigger picture. She was trained as a young child by her grandparents. One was her Cherokee grandfather, and the other one was a Celtic medicine woman, her grandmother. And they trained her in a way that she didn't shut down these lenses as she grew up. Because usually what happens, as you guys know, we shut off certain capacities because there's no place for it in this world, in the world that we're conditioned to live in, right? So this never happened to her. And as she went through her life as an editor, as a mother, as a human in this world, she had this other part to her, which was this multidimensional aspect. And what was really brilliant about the work that she did was that she embraced modern science and scholars and researchers and stuff like this and used a lot of their work to reinforce certain parts of this axis, certain proof certain levels of the existence on this axis actually are so. And so even the 1D lens that we talk about all the time, that has been discovered by today's modern day science. And it was the giant earthquakes that were happening back in, it was the great tsunami, if you guys remember, in Indonesia. The size of the equipment that they had, and I can't remember if it's new or if it was upgraded or something. Somebody was experimenting with something, like they connected them all, and they were able to trace the shock waves of that earthquake all the way down through the center of the earth and out the other side, because there was multiple extreme earthquakes happening. And in the mapping out of the data, they discovered that in the center of the earth is a crystallized iron core. That's in the center of the earth. That's what their instruments the data once it was all put together, illustrated. So she did the research like that, and connected it to all these different things that are happening in modern science to validate and prove that these dimensions exist, and that these levels of beingness are actually so. And if you want to read about that, that's her book, Alchemy of the Nine Dimensions. That's, a lot of science in there, a little bit of meditation. But me, I don't have that same purpose. I am a mystic, So what I am different, how I'm different with this work is that I'm using this to awaken people to their true compass of who they are inside, right? So I have a different intent when I draw this model out. So we start off with our axis, our intent being so. And our intent of being so is met by the yes to be here with the Pachamama. So Pachamama, Mother Earth, put out a call through the cosmos, through the universe for life, and our beingness said yes to that. And in that ecstatic yes, from that moment on, we were traveling through all time, space, dimension until we got here. Until we came here to the here and now, this very moment. Okay. Now, you may have gone through many other phases and realities and timelines or whatever on your way here, but the reality is, for the here and now, you're here because your spirit says yes to be here. Your infinite nature is saying yes and has an agreement with Mother Earth to be here. Okay. So your abilities as a being of Dreamtime is married to or married with the Pachamama's abilities as a creator being through Dreamtime. Okay, so in that we agreed to dream together. Our dreams mingle with Pachamama's dreams. And ultimately, we're all living the same dream, but we all have our own aspects that we bring to it. Okay, so this yes is a great big ecstatic, you belong here kind of feeling. And the lens for this is in the perineum. So if you want to tune into that lens right now, it's very simple. You just start to pulse the perineum, maybe breathe in light through the perineum. Okay, just keep your focus there and do certain things. Move, put pressure. There's a whole discipline of body work that's around softening and relaxing the tissues of the perineum. Okay, so this is a very rich body of study in many different realms with body work, psychology, somatic psychology, so on and so forth, mystery schools, all that. So there's lots of things you could do. Take your pick. And in the stimulation of that, you are also relaxing. Notice what your body is doing while you're breathing in light through the perineum. A lot of people, the first thing that happens is that you'll have a great big breath or you'll start to sit up taller, or, the body has some sort of natural response when your awareness touches this aspect. And this is so with all of these dimensions, actually. Your body gives you has a physiological response when you come in contact with these different frequencies. All of these lenses exist within the biosuit. So in order to access any of these realms or have influence of these realms, within these realms, there's no need to leave the body. If anything, you need to be more concentrated in the here and now, more present and more illuminated here in order to access, to enhance the access. To enhance the access that you have to these levels. Okay, so going out is the opposite of what empowerment is. Going in is where your empowerment is and is where your sovereignty is. As soon as you go out, you are now in another person's wonderland. All right, and then from the perineum, you rise up. The next lens is is in the sacral area. The sacrum is the seat of the soul. So the sacrum is where the actual where your soul and essence anchors into this world. Okay. So there's that level, but then there's also all these different layers in between. There's the cellular layer, there's the atomic layer, okay, the quantum layer, all these different layers within the biosuit. So everything from the core quantum level of your being all the way out to the skin is the telluric realm. It's system within system within system. So it's a deeply woven, intricate reality where all these different life forms and realms intersect and cross each other, and in that work together. Okay, so in the biosuit we have the nervous system. We have the lymphatic system, we have the digestive system, we have the integumentary system. Okay, that's like the skin and fascia that, have all these layers of systems, and they all are nestled inside of each other, and they all interact and impact each other. Okay, so there's really no separateness, really. It's our minds, when looking at a body, at a cadaver or whatever, that separates these systems so we can start to understand them with the mind. But really, when it's a living, breathing apparatus, that's greater than the sum of its parts, everything that's woven together works together, is interdependent with each other. Okay, so on a telluric realm, we are so close to being one again. Okay, so if you look at a rich forest, a similar kind of thing. You have the mycelium that grows through, that creates these intricate networks underneath the ground. And then you have all the critters that live in the ground. You have the ants, you have all of, a bunch of other plant forms. And then you have the bigger root systems of the standing tall as the trees. And all that life together, system next to system, interwoven with a system and a system, and another system. This is could be considered one organism, one life form. And there's scientists that have discovered that communication happens between trees via mycelium networks. Okay, so this is flushing out into the collective more and more and more, this telluric realm that I'm talking about. There's something else I need to say about the telluric realm. Hold on one second. Hello, darling. Something else about okay. So on a molecular level, an atomic level, we are constantly interacting with our outer world. We're constantly breathing in, taking in molecules, particles, you know what I mean? Different, bacteria, all kinds of, stuff like this. We're breathing this in and we're breathing things out. So we're in a constant change with our environment around us. Exchange like this. And then we're also in constant exchange through our skin, through our integumentary system as well. So we are constantly exchanging with our outer world, our biosuit, this wisdom in the telluric realm. So in this way, we are actually not separated from our environment. We are swimming in an ocean of energy, of particles, of life forms or whatever, and we are not, we're not closed off from it. We are actually exchanging and breathing with it. This is what our biosuit is doing, okay? Energetically, emotionally, mentally, on a cellular level, okay? So we are breathing in and out with our environment. So on a 2D level, we are so still deeply interconnected with everything that's around us. There's not really much separation. It might seem like separation when we are in 3D because we see the skin, and the skin is so much more dense than the air, and then we conclude it's separate, but it's not. So that brings me to 3D. 3D is the experience that we have with our infinite beingness imbuing the DNA of this biosuit. The DNA dance of this biosuit gets imbued and fueled by our infinite nature. And the act of fueling the DNA to do its dance, to do its spin, right? Its dance and its spin is what takes us from moment to moment to moment in 3D, right? This is this is what emanates the 3D experience. And this is also why when you change things inside of you cellularly, which affects the DNA, which affects that dance and that spin, That's why when you change things inside of you on that level, you're changing things outside as well, because everything on this outside is a hologram of what's going on inside. Okay. Remember, we are dreaming within a dream. Pachamama is the outer dream. We are the inner dream. Okay. But yet the structure of Pachamama is still the foundation of what we create and what we do. So everything we build here is built with the natural lore of 2D, okay? Honoring one's nature, whatever that nature may be. So certain creations need something with a strong nature. So you'd only use strong, durable building, I can't even explain it. When you collect what you are, your material. That's the word. Yeah, your building material. If you need something to be really flexible and fluid, you're going to choose material that naturally has movement and is flexible in this way. So in 3D, our creations are taking the material of the 2D and connecting with its nature and bringing it forward into our experience. Like this marker, right? Someone thought of this, people studied this, people made this, people poured the mold, collected the materials. I mean, there's a lot of work that went into making this simple marker, right? So this started off as 2D intelligence somewhere off in the ground somewhere, or, this molecule was somewhere home, in another being. Okay. Until it got conditioned and galvanized and whatever happened here to create it. So this 2D, the point I'm getting to with the 2D is that it is the foundation that we build everything on. And the more in alignment we are with its true nature, the more harmony it is in its expression. Okay. So when we are doing things with ourselves, it's not in our true nature. We're not in harmony with the expression. It's more of an anguish. It's more of a pain point. Okay. So when you take 2D aspects and you treat it in a way that's not really, and that's going to give it growth and strength, you're going to end up with a disaster eventually somewhere on your hands. Okay. All right. So 3D. All the rules of 3D depend on the rules we make for it here. That's on the individual level. So your DNA dance and your spin is actually creating everything that's going on. Now, what complicates the issue or simplifies it, depending on how you look at it, is this 4D influence. The 4D influence is the energy of linear time, but it's also collective ideas, thought forms, belief systems, energy exchanges, stuff like this. So the 4D is a canopy that is around all of us. Our ideas, our perceptions, all of this stuff is shaped by the different energies that make up our 4D field. So the 4D field's around the planet. It's around a town. It's around your house. It's around you. It's around your cells. Okay, so it just goes from the macro into the micro. And this is why belief systems have such a defining impact on your cellular health. Okay, because that 4D field is influencing your cells. Your beliefs and thoughts influence how your cells are going to behave, right? Your beliefs and thoughts influence your DNA dance. Okay, so if you have a lot of poison and lies woven into your belief system, as a human, you can totally change someone's 3D experience by just giving them an idea. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. Okay, so our 4D is the big tool that's used to blind us. Now, here's the thing. Everything is so almost practically in oneness, right? There's not much separation in the 2D realm. In the 3D realm, the separation is this idea that my skin is a lot denser than the air and therefore it's separate, right? But it's not, because everything around me is coming into my body and coming out of my body. I'm breathing it in, it's going deep into my tissues, into my cells, and I'm breathing it out. Okay, so even though it looks like I'm separate from my environment, I'm exchanging. Okay, now where the separation is really anchored in for humanity is in our belief systems. So we believe we are separate. Okay, so that's going to enhance our experience in the 3D, and it's going to enhance that experience in the 2D. Okay, this is where dis-ease comes in. This is where lack comes in. This is where, not being nourished comes in because of our belief systems. We're swimming through an abundant universe, right? Why are there so many people alive with lack and poverty and suffering? Right. Okay, so what humans are trained to think is because it's not really abundant. Well, that's a lie. It is abundant. If that's the truth, then why are there people that experience lack, starvation, and terrible things? Right? It's because they're not aware. They're not aware of what else there is. They are blinded by their blind spots of who they think they are, what they think is, the pain, the trauma, they're blinded and they can't see past the belief system. They can't see past the reality that's been forced upon them. Okay. So the 4D is huge participating in the idea that we are separate. All right. And now we have our 5D field. That's the Akasha. The eyes for the 5D are found in the heart space. And as many teachings, as you guys know, the teachings of the heart space, that is also where you go from mundane mind into timelessness, is in the heart space. So the example that comes to mind is, when you have a heart connection with somebody, and maybe you don't see them a lot as a friend, but the connection's real. It's in your heart. It's like, it's like putting on comfortable shoes when you're together, and maybe many years go by and you don't see each other, and then you see each other again, and it's like you didn't miss a step. You just pick right up where you left off. That's a heart connection. Okay, that's not a connection depending upon the stories and exchanges you've had of what a good friend does and what a good friend doesn't do, and if they've shown up for you or not shown up for you. None of that. None of those cultural things are influencing that connection, because it's in the heart. It's beyond time and space. You guys are connected beyond these roles of who you think you are in the human experience. Pretty cool, huh? I love those kinds of connections. And then we have 6D, which is our blueprint. This is our Lightbody blueprint. Interesting. I do that sometimes, don't I? So our Lightbody blueprint is the map of our consciousness traveling through the universe, how we're going to have these experiences. Everything in the blueprint is expressed in the Akasha. So everything all the experiences your soul tone is magnetized for, is a frequency match for, all of the ways that you're going to grow, all the ways you're going to fragment, all the ways that you're going to experience Earth, all the ways you're going to experience beloveds, all the ways you're going to die. All of this is contained within that light body. And what the masters of living energy discovered was that you can actually track different diseases and illnesses and disturbances to the human experience back to where it's at in the blueprint and change things. Okay, and this is why Lightbody healing is so powerful, is because you can actually change that blueprint. So they discovered how to change the blueprint, and the result was the people got better. And then, of course, they took it a lot further into dream time, and where they're able to completely bend space and time. They can just appear out of nowhere. They can not be affected by time. There's all sorts of skills that, that start to come forward, what we might call high magic, right? And in those skills, those skills, they're demonstrating on how this 3D is so malleable, this is something that people tell fairy tales about, but to meet people who really do this, it's life-changing, because it's not words. It's in the energy. It's in their light body. It's in their aura, just sitting with these beings and not having a conversation is very powerful, because they want to gift this to people, so just being in the presence of somebody who's activated on these levels is an opportunity for people. So you guys, everybody who's listening to this, you're getting activated every Thursday. Everybody you connect with is going to be impacted in some way by your energy, just how you guys are from mine, right? All right, so 70. This is the soul song, the galactic highways of light, the stellar networks. They're it's frequency. It's also a level of you that is without form. It is the first stage of separation from being away, separate from source. So there are many different tones within the soul song, and it is possible to actually go back into source and pull out additional tones. And in the pulling out of the additional tones, you're influencing how the shape of the light body that those tones create, you see. So so nowadays on this planet, there's really powerful modalities offered to man right now if we can expand our awareness and allow it to happen. It's like we can actually change the map of our biosuit. We can change our bodies completely. We can change the map of what kind of collective we're going to experience, what kinds of, you know what I mean? We can change the map of the great dream we're weaving in with Pachamama. Okay. So this is a resource for us. This is a power for us that's natural, that belongs to us. It's our birthright. It's like breathing. Okay. It's something it's not for only people who are considered spiritual or anything like that. Every single human being has access to these levels of who they are. They just need to get those blind spots off, and then before they can see it. 8D is the all that is. This is what a lot of people might refer to as God, prime creator. The all that is a fabric that goes within, through, and all things. There's nothing that is not a part of the all that is. Some beings will have you think that the all that is all there is. It's like the most outer nesting doll of these experiences possible, but it's not. Because remember, and we have this in our mythology, that there's a mother of God, and the Madre de Dios, and this would be the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Center of Milky Way galaxy. Once you wake up to that and it can allow that frequency to move through you, this is the infinite vessel of compassion. This is the galactic mind. Many people associate as Kuan Yin energy. That's how I do. I associate it with as Kuan Yin energy too. And the galactic mind is a place where you are the outer nesting doll for all of this. You're aware of the part of you that is on a galactic level and experiencing all of this at the same time. Now, once that opens up and that well of compassion is available for you, this is a massive healing that you can bring into your body, into your relationships, into your community of people. And this is where I encourage people to, once you reach this place, which all humans can, once you reach this place, I encourage people to do something called the forgiveness practice, right? Because the forgiveness practice, what's that doing? It's not validating perpetration or being a perpetrator or victim. No. I call it forgiveness practice. That's a very surface term, but really it's something that goes way deeper than that. It goes way past the Akasha. Right. So when you do the forgiveness practice the way we do it, you're moving emotional energy through these dimensions. And as that emotional energy moves, it's taking all the hooks and grabs and implants and programs and stuff along with it. It's like a great big tsunami washing through your system and washing through all these levels of your being and cleaning your energy up. This is good energetic hygiene. So this 4D field has a lot of emotional exchanges that happen, right? And in those emotional exchanges, people are shooting their energy out and people are having energy shot at them. And the more right you think you are about your thoughts and opinions and grudges or whatever, the more you're going to want to participate yourself in the energy exchange, the toxic energy exchange. This is why I call certain people out on Facebook sometimes, because it's like, you say you know better, but you don't. You know what I mean? So I can't help it. I just need to say it because somebody needs to say it, right? It's like, guys, we are so much bigger than this. We're so much more than this. All right. And this piece that I'm talking about ties into why only raising your vibration is not enough. That's only part of the picture. People have certain intentions when they say raising your vibration, raising your frequency. And for some people, it's, staying happy, staying on the positive, looking for the joy, weaving gratitude, right? So there's like a rudimentary level of that, when someone's waking up to, oh my gosh, how I think and feel really does impact people, or some people are complete jerks and have no idea that they're a jerk. And then they wake up to it, and then they change their mind. They realize how their behavior is impacting people, and they choose something different, right? So there's that kind of thing, but it's way more than that. Once you wake up to the compassion, the infinite compassion of the galactic mind, it's no longer about staying there like you're static. It's not like holding on to a feeling and never letting it go, because you're still in resistance. You're still in fear, okay, of something that is that's not that good feeling, okay? And this is where the courageous dreamers come in. This is why I call for the courageous dreamers to come into Lightbody Academies, because it's not about just having a high frequency and staying there. It's about being your frequency and being engaged with everything around you, okay? It's liberation on this 4 and 5D field. So being isolated and illuminated does not hit the mark of what Pachamama needs right now. This is not what her dream is calling for. Pachamama's dream is calling for us to rise up, connect with each other, connect in a community of people, and shine, get bigger, resonate, do what you do, right? This is why one of the many reasons why these levels are available to everyday homemakers. Decades ago, this level of awareness and awakening is only available for the yogi living in solitude in the mountain, but now everyday people are waking up to this, everyday humans. And the medicine people that I worked with, they had this in their vision. They actively got together in groups and councils of elders and actively participated in dreaming the world into being. And this is part of their dream, is that humanity wakes up en masse. Not just a certain group, it's for everybody. So simply raising your vibration and staying here and not not interacting with the other aspects of Pachamama's dream is still isolating yourself, okay? So where the courage comes in is that you being in your fullness, in your radiance, and meeting the world, meeting the people in your life. You see what I'm saying? You are shining into the darkness. You are shining into the suffering. You are meeting the pain where it's at. And your mere presence with that radiance of who you are. And I'm not talking about the ego face stuff. I'm talking about the real truth that's right here. In that presence, you shift everything. Everything shifts with this kind of presence. Okay? That is what we need in addition to raising your frequency. We need to be courageous divers into the realities around us and meeting and bringing our light to that. Okay. Now, there's a trick here, because a lot of people will go into their ego phase, see me as this bright light and la 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 la. I'm a master this and this and this, and I'm here to help you. No. Okay. It's more of, I'm here. You really look like you're in pain. Are you okay? We hold space and we listen. The person, if we're holding a good space for them, they will feel a moment where they can just relax and unwind and let it out. You ever have someone just sit down, look at you, they're about to say a word, and then bust out crying? Yeah? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. It's because of the space you're holding. You are helping them on an unspoken level, helping them liberate themselves from a burden they're carrying, you see? Now, it may be anger, it may be sadness, it may be all kinds of lower vibrations, but you're an infinite being and are completely unaffected by that. Yeah? So now you can hold that space without judging that person for their feelings that they're having. They just needed someone to witness them in their pain. And you were the one called to do it. Not this way, but spirit brought that moment to you. Okay, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to actually participate with your high vibration in the world, is meet what's out there. You know, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of polarity going on, and we've had conversations in this group about this. It's like we dance this fine line of trying to touch people in certain ways so they wake up to the food they're feeding this ridiculousness, or try to plant a seed of a different idea than this extreme hate that someone's experiencing. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not, but we do our best, right? So, I mean, we have a role here. These are our times. You are a starseed, you're a way shower. This time is your time. It is your time. It is not whatever powers that be that thinks they're going to, dominate the world's time. No, that is the trauma drama of the collective. Now, the trauma drama of the collective is a part of us. So we need to show up for that part and do what we know we can do in the moment to make change. And it's not to, battle the beast. It's to connect with our immediate circles. It's to connect with the immediate family. It's to, you know what I mean? Like connect in your immediate community and resonate and build those connections. Those are the ones that really matter in life, not this other crap. Lovely, what's her name? Professor, no, it's not a professor, Dr. Calhoun, can't remember her first name, but she's from Ireland, and she said something really interesting in a talk that I heard her do. And she was talking about, since Ireland is so small, everybody knows everybody. So she encouraged, when someone died, she encouraged them, people would email, she would stay in contact and coach people in email to contact their coroners and get clarity about what's on the death certificate and communicate about what was going on with your loved one and stuff like that. And because of that close-knit network community that they had, they revealed that that the numbers that were happening were not as accurate as people wished. So there was, they completely revolutionized the way the people were working the death certificates because of this movement. And it took a community to do that. Someone calling about their brother, someone writing about their aunt. You know what I mean? Like, these are your immediate connections that made that revealed that to the system, and the system self-corrected. Okay. So it was a really beautiful story. I think I'm mutilating it, but you guys get what I mean. It's the immediate circles that really matter. And those are the ones that you can bring and hold space for and connect with. Those are the ones that you have power and influence with. Okay. Now, I know it's really hard because there's some crazy information coming out, and some of it is like, well, number one, it's engineered to be triggering, right? It's engineered to be divisive. So it's already set up to be highly charged and to pull people out of their bodies, right? But there, we want to stay informed. We want to keep tabs on what's happening. And I mean, I get triggered by stuff sometimes. what I'm seeing now is great big waves of fear going through the collective, through Facebook, social media, and stuff like that, about mandatory vaccinations and what the kinds of vaccinations that have been invented now, and the bigger agenda and stuff like that. And immediately it hits the throat. People, there's this kick in the gut, and there's this powerless feeling like, you feel me? You guys got me on that, right? So when you get information like that, what do you do when you can't shake it? What in the model of this, where's your power at? Okay. So your power is the same place as what I'm saying about the holding space. Your power is not making it about being a victim of this. Okay, that's step one. You understand that this is being brought to you. You're looking at it, and it is showing you something about you. Okay, not that. Remember, reality is not what people think. People are disempowered to the system because that is how it's designed, and they buy into it. Okay, so if the problem is here, the 4D structure, institution stuff, and affecting the 3D, where do you go to affect these levels? You go here and here, or here and here. Okay, now what I like to do in the academy is bring people here and here, because this is dream time. This is an outer nesting doll creating all of this. So you can shift things pretty significantly and quickly by working on these levels. But say you don't have that access. You're not accessing dream time on that level. What do you do? Right? First, you need to understand that part of you wants to be in the disempowerment drama. I know people don't want to admit, I don't want to be, who wants to be helpless? Who wants to feel this way? Blah, 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 right? Well, the fact is you're letting your energy move out and feed something that's tapping you to feed it. Okay, you're making the choice to do that. Okay, you are making the choice to do that. You don't have to put your energy out there and feed that thing or that person or whatever. You don't have to do that, but you want to do that because you feel like you're right. Okay, so that attitude right there makes you food, and boom, now you're in the disempowerment train. It's going to take a lot of focus to get out of that, right? Right. So this is what I'm saying. Notice when you're doing that and do what you need to do to check yourself. Okay, the forgiveness practice is huge, because a lot of these entanglements of the 4D are completely alchemized. Alchemize when you bring the forgiveness practice in, like say it's a disempowerment with a government or an oppressive government. You can do a forgiveness practice with that kind of structure. And then you're going to shift energy throughout the Akasha that has to do with that kind of relationship to an oppressive government. Okay. So that is an example of stepping past this and working it here. Okay. Another thing you can do is go in and have a conversation with yourselves. Go in and feel what's happening on these deep layers here. And then this strong trigger that happened out here is now serving you to go deeper inside and find yet another layer of you that is in the power over dynamic game. Okay. So you can use that strong emotion to take you in. Okay. This going in is a challenge. It's a challenge because, we're not taught how to do that. We're not taught that having your feelings no matter what and expressing them no matter what is okay. We're taught that only toddlers can do that. But if you can allow yourself to do that, especially in witness with another person, you can get to some profound levels on a cellular, on a 2D, in a telluric level way. I mean, you can clear out deep ancestral stuff from letting it take you in like that. So these triggers, we feel powerless to them because we feel right. Okay, that's why we want to be justified in being right. Is if you can let go of being right or anything being wrong, if you can let that go, then you're more empowered to pull your energy back, and you're taking that breath, you're creating space for an additional perspective to drop in. Now, I mean, I work a lot of stuff out through dream time, because some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff in this world, it's brand new, and I look at it and I'm just like, I have no idea. Right? That's how I feel looking at that. So I take things into dream time to help me out because my ego driver is limited, and I am inviting in energetically and with my intention and all these layers to another perspective to drop in. All right. Okay, guys. Now there's a lot of talk going on. So let's pause, and I'm going to bring Lori on here, and she's going to read off some of our comments and conversations that are coming forward. Hey, darling. Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Hold on. You're on mute. You have to unmute.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So when you were on 2D, Joanne West Lewis said research Paul Stamets' work with mushrooms, fungi, and mycelium. Amazing stories. She also added Dr. Dolores Cahill.
Oh, yeah, that's her name. That was the one in Ireland.
She says Dr. Cahill.
Thank you, Joanne. You're always right on.
Dr. Cahill, Ireland molecular biologist and virologist, heading the 100,000 doctors and medical professionals of the World Doctor Alliance, which is working 24/7 to educate the world populace as to truth, to which contradicts mainstream media's propaganda.
Thank you, Joanne, for that information. I think that was the video. That was your video that you sent me that I saw her interview. So thank you for that. What else?
And then Tammy had a comment that she retracted, but I think she just restated it. It says, is the all that is the same thing as the divine and the same thing as our essence? Because aren't we all that is on a deeper level?
Yeah. So, right. So this is why I don't like to use the word divine, because it's been incorporated into religious teachings and understandings, and anything that is of God is divine, but we are beyond God. We are the ones who create that. You see what I mean? So divine, the feeling of it, I still call it that because I don't have another word. But if you look at the bigger scope, that we're infinite beings that are not created by anything, we're just always so, then you can see why the divine, I kind of have a little bit of problem with it. But that if that works for you and that in the feeling and addressing the piece, then great, go with it.
And then Joanne adds, passion for education is about leading out the wisdom which supports us all.
Yeah. And this is, another level of sovereignty, taking care of our children and their education. It's like they're getting taught and traumatized by things going on at school. I mean, here in Colorado, I don't know about in other places. Here in Colorado, there's for years, there's bullying issues and Facebook bullying and all this, people being really mean in groups to other kids. It's like their school experience is no longer one where they get educated and freed. Well, for some, but for a lot, it's a traumatizing experience, and they can't wait to get home. So we need to listen to our kids and where they're at in relationship to that. Real education is one that meets them where they're at and cultivates them to bloom. Yeah, cultivates them into blooming. And I'm happy to see that more and more everyday parents are waking up to that, What else?
Spirit Bound NEO says about deep diving. What happens if I encounter the Kraken during my endeavors? Bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah. So that's the ego driver saying that. Really what happens, you have guardians, entourages that are around you. Every single being does. And every single human being is closely worked with and watched by all these different layers. Right. So yeah, you're going to experience something that kicks your ego driver's ass. Right. Like gives your ass a big check, and that will happen because there's something going on. It's teaching you that you're moving forward, not from your core essence, but from here, So if you're not, I would say if you're doing this deep dive and you're not finding beasts, then you're not doing it right. Really, Lori, could you feel me on that one? Yeah. Yes. This is what I mean about the courageousness. It's like, this incorruptible level gets discovered, revealed. We get the blind spots off of that. Now you're in it. Now you go into those trials of bringing it into. So if you can love into the darkness, love into the fear, flood pain and suffering with compassion, that, then you're cooking. So that then you can meet that beast and you can look it in the eye and you can remember where it originated from. You can bring it back home before it was beast, before it was distorted and scary, and you can liberate that being. You see, that's the power you have. But we got to get over the dance of what we believe is going on, right? We have these default beliefs as humans that we're weak, that we're sinners, that we're separated, that we're limited, all these things. None of it is actually true. Not here in the new paradigm. In the old paradigm, it was so because it was a part of what we wanted to experience. But the new paradigm, it is not so. It's not what we want to experience anymore. We're done learning through suffering. Okay, so there's lots of fronts that this interaction is happening on. But do know that nothing's happening to you that you cannot handle. And I know, like, the ego driver's terrified, but it happened because your spirit brought it to you. Not because your ego driver needs to be validated and how in control of your life is. You know what I mean? Really, the liberation comes when you realize, oh my gosh, I'm actually not in control of anything. Scary as fuck to some people, but man, it's liberating once you really get going on that ride.
So Spirit-Bound Neo adds, from there, my ego driver doesn't want to drive anymore.
Okay. Yeah. So that's that feeling of wanting to die, that feeling of not wanting to be here. It's deep despair, heartache. It's like, can't even get out of bed because you just want to cry. I would say, let yourself have the feeling, but do notice when you go from having the feeling to emotionally masturbating about the feeling. Okay. Now the part that that emotional masturbation piece, that's the part that's making the suffering longer than it needs to happen. Okay. The part of the real, truly being with your pain and with your despair and in your tears, that's moving energy. That is parts of your ego driver that were distorted and messed up, not true to your spirit. That's part of that ego driver dissolving. And it really does feel like you're dying. It does feel like you want to die. I mean, it's a real feeling. It's a wall that people feel like they hit. But as long as you stay with how you feel, and it sucks until it doesn't. That's just how it is, unfortunately. And the big thing is the thoughts and the feelings of why you have these awful despair moments. That's what keeps it locked in. If you can let go of the thoughts and feelings about the despair moments and just have them like this, then that energy is going to keep moving. And that cry session was a real benefit to your nervous system and to your Akashic field.
So they added, wow, so my love for these beasts is a good thing then. Mm-hmm. And also it's difficult for me to move forward when I quite literally have nowhere to move forward to. Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling into that for a moment. Yeah, so what happens is that when you see no options, you're asking the wrong questions. The more perspectives you can get, the more the options will open. So the more ways you can see that same situation, that same feeling of being stuck and not being able to move, the more you can do that through this lens and then this lens and then this lens. I mean, making a meditation and go into that feeling with each of these lenses and see if you can allow those lenses to give you, reinform you in some way and liberate your perspective so you can have more options. You can see more clearly the right question to ask, stuff like that.
Okay, Martine Evans says, brightest blessings, beautiful star seeds. Just wondering how I can connect with the 2D.
Sing to your body, love your body, do body work, take baths, massage the perineum. Yoga by breathing in light and infusing the cells. I had a chat a while back where I was talking about when I do yoga, I'm breathing in my template, my golden template, and anchoring it into my bones. So anything that's loving into the body, that's addressing the body, bringing light into the body, that's getting into your telluric realm. Let's see. Heartbeat, being in your heartbeat and smiling, that goes right. That connects directly into the telluric realm as well. Do you have anything that you like to do, Lori?
Oh, definitely getting into the dropping into my heart space and then connecting through the solar plexus to the perineum. That really
Okay.
that connection.
So Lori's describing something we call tuning into the inner rhythms. So that really works for her. Yeah, I like that too. Hope that's helpful, darling.
Martine adds, I work in a secure mental health hospital and we get so many suicidal people, but I have found that by sharing my light and my own experience, I can help them feel differently. Is it my purpose?
Okay, so is it your purpose? This is something for you to decide, but what I would point out is that, I mean, those are hard situations, and the fact that you can bring light to those people, I can imagine that being pretty fulfilling, because that's meeting light, that's taking light into the darkness. That's meeting people in different ways and having an impact. And in a way, those people are the ones that really see you. And I can see how that is really fulfilling, being seen like that. So you decide. But I do want to say one thing: when you're following your truth and you're working towards your purpose evolves over time. And every segment of that journey is wisdom for later on in the journey. Okay, is cultivating wisdom and trust within yourself for later on in the journey. So when you are following your truth, it's never a waste of time, and it's always worth it, because it's taking you somewhere. I promise it's taking you somewhere.
Spiritbound NEO, is it all right if I ask for perspectives in the Facebook group? I've been wanting to hear some different perspective, but I'm fairly odd and I'm not looking to hijack conversations.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you were to ask any group for perspective, I'd say this is the group to do it, because of the people that we have here are extraordinary. I mean, this is a group, most of us are multidimensionals, so it's like we don't go into the drama so much. We definitely are very unique, and every single one of us is very unique in how we see things. So I would find that as a very rich resource personally. How about you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely, darling.
Polly Horton says this is like reliving a piece, the EST training.
I don't know.
And I think I'm caught up.
Oh, okay. That's everybody. All right, cool. Well, so with the part that I'm talking about on how to get your energy back, like shake off that fearful stuff. Hopefully what we talked about so far was helpful. Lori, what was my last thing? What was the last thing on my list? I lost my post. Just taking a break on the energy. That's all. We're just taking a break on the energy.
Oh, the roller coaster.
Oh yeah, the roller coaster. They can't come off. Yeah. Okay, so this actually ties in with what dear brother Starshine is talking about with the feeling stuck thing. Okay, so that feeling of being completely out of control, not in control of anything, and things just keep happening, and being completely disoriented. Okay, Lori, we'll see you in a little bit. We'll see you later. Thank you so much. So that roller coaster, like it's driving you mad, or just that despair that happens when feeling out of control, or embarrassment or shame, stuff like this. Being out of control is terrifying for most human beings. Okay. And this to me shows just how far away from the real reality we are. The more terrified we are of the unknown, the more of a trained poodle we are because of this. Okay. We are part of nature. We're meant to be wild. Okay. We're meant to be with life that is in the landscapes here, in the forests, on the rivers. We are meant to be a part of life here. We're part of the ecosystem. And when we are just in our nature, we feed life around us. We're in harmony with what's around us. Okay. So, and really when you're in that state, the unknown is something that's really interesting. It's something that brings something, it's new. it's a discovery, it's an adventure. Okay. But that's not where most humans are. They're in the terrified state when they get into that. All right. In this terrified state, what this is that it's your ego driver reacting because it does not know how to respond in a way that's going to keep you safe, that's going to keep you validated. Okay. So that grip that we have, that grip that happens when we're faced with the unknown shows you just how deep the programming goes. Okay. So the programming is so deep. It's layered upon layered upon layer like this. And it's generationally and reinforced. A lot of the stuff that plays out in our subconscious was taught to us by our parents. Maybe we don't believe the way our parents believed. It doesn't matter. It's something that's ingrained in our subconscious and it's manifesting anyway. Okay. So we need to re-empower ourselves in that 4D level and unwind those blind spots so we can be that innocent being that is a part of nature, living the beauty, the love, the abundance of Pachamama, right? And is excited about the unknown. Our ego drivers we're shamed, we're chastised, we're tortured. Actually, if you're if you're a Christian male child, you were tortured, within a couple of days of your birth with the whole circumcision thing. I mean, so there's all these things that have been done to us to reinforce these patterns of stuckness, these patterns of you got to keep safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. So all those structures are blinding us to the reality that the unknown is where we invent things. That's where the new things come from. It has to come from the unknown. And if it doesn't come from the unknown, we're just doing a reiteration of the past. You see? There's an unwinding that has to happen here. For the young ones, I have to say, it's really confusing and there's a lot of depressing, information and experiences and stuff for our young ones, but do know that you guys are liberated on a deep level that you're, in a way that the previous generations were not. There's veils that don't exist for you that exist for them. In a lot of times, that's why there's such a disconnect between the generations with that. Okay. And now those of us who were, visionaries and way showers of our generation, we connect with the young ones really easily because we're like, wow, this person's got like no veils, and it's a very easy thing to connect with and resonate and harmonize with, right? So the young ones have an advantage. They're told more terrifying stories. In a lot of ways, they're reliving a potential apocalypse over and over and over again. Okay. So there's that kind of thing. There's some people who want, they want to invoke the unknown, but in a suffering kind of way. So there's also that's pushed in. So what we need to do is, instead of referencing outwards, redefine our compass and reference inwards so we can unwind and liberate ourselves from these belief systems that are blinding us, that are handicapping us from being at the edge in looking into the unknown. Because when you unwind the parts of your ego driver that's gripped or that's sprouted out of trauma and fear and stuff like this, when you unwind those constructs from your subconscious, they're not in the moment anymore when you're facing the unknown. And more and more and more. And the people in the academy, this is the more advanced work in the academy, is actually getting to that place where you can be in the unknown, and it's exciting. It's like, woohoo, something totally I can't even imagine is about to happen, right? And it's a smile. It's like a great feeling. But a lot of people, that's why divination is so important for a lot of people. They need to know, they have to have an idea of what's going to happen. But really what is happening is so beyond the scope of the mind and the ego driver. It's like, it doesn't matter if you think or not. It's what you think is happening is so much far beyond that, So these blind spots, the more you can unwind them, the more you can be aware of. You can have contact with the dream, you can have contact with the abstract, and then you can accept those data sets and let them come in and provide you with another layer of understanding. So with the understanding of who you really are, that incorruptible self, as those blind spots get unwound and you can really feel and be in that incorruptible level of who you are, the indestructible part of who you are, and open your eyes and be faced with this unknown situation, it's awesome. Okay? Because you trust yourself. You're not forced. There's no part of you that is dwelling and being forsaken by God. Okay. There's no part of you that's dwelling and waiting for the other shoe to happen, or waiting for the follow-up punishment, or, you know what I mean? Those things that draw your attention aren't there anymore. It's just you and your rhythms and your smile right there, right here. It's that simple. We complicate it because we want to understand, but the fact is that it's beyond what the mind can understand. Now, the biosuit has senses, and you can sense things, you can smell things, you can feel things, right? Your body has senses that make contact with all these layers of you, okay? That's a real thing because these are hardwired into your body. So you have senses and awarenesses that have contact with these layers. And that's why it's so important to go within and know how you're feeling, because it's your emotional body that goes through, permeates, percolates through all these layers, all these levels. In order for you to experience the all that is, you first have to have your heart open to go into infinity. You see? So there's layers of how this interacts. It's so simple. It's deceptive. All right. What I'm giving you here is some mind thoughts, some candy to move things around. Energetically, we're opening things up, and we're doing our part in waking up and saying yes to our power, our sovereignty as a creator being, co-dreaming this reality. So when we see these things that trigger fear, that's a part of us that believes that we're a victim or that we're powerless. That's a great opportunity to go inside, say, oh, I've been looking for you. Hello, dear friend. I've been looking for you. And you can go deep with your awareness into the powerlessness, and you can start alchemizing it. You can bring love to it. You can tell that part of you are here because it's in pain. You love and are here because they're in their suffering. You see, that's why you are there with them. And when you do that with yourself, you open and relax, and the effects of these lies start to unwind, and then they no longer inform you in that way. So eventually what will happen is nothing out here will trigger you like that. Nothing at all. I know. It really happens. All right. Let's see. Okay, I went over. Did I? Oh, Lori, there's a few more. Let's bring you back on, darling. Hey, girl. Oh, mute again.
Got it. Okay, Spirit Bound NEO said thank you for everything.
Awesome. Good luck.
Joanne adds, every person for whom we are light, the other is an opportunity to see the mirror pieces and acknowledge the bright and dark shadows within ourselves. And also, she says, going beyond having to understand is so freeing, laughing at my why over the so many years.
Oh, yeah, those whys. I once had a 20-minute conversation with my brother at the time was 3. And he was like, he would ask a question and I would tell him, he says, why? Then I'd ask then I would tell him, but why? And it was like the why just kept going. Until eventually I was like, let's go play. Let's go. Sorry, that was just making me laugh. Go ahead.
And then Benjamin Sims adds, call forth your Omni, bring your mind into your heart and focus on your Omni. It's a song. It goes all the way back to the original mother. Love you all.
Mm-hmm. So you guys might wonder, original mother, that's like the original beingness Okay, so it's before the void, or I'm sorry, it's after the void, and it's like this primal pool of where everything, from which everything springs, and that's often referred to as the original mother, and it's synonymous with Pachamama. Okay, because the essence of the original mother is the universal expression of what the Pachamama is. So the whole universe is right here on this planet with us. Boom. Okay, go ahead.
And then just Nancy was replying to Polly saying, without the manipulation, LOL.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I hope that this was helpful. Everything that we talked about today. Remember, you are the one in control. You are the one in your, you are the one who is in the driver's seat. Do your best to not take the bait and claim your sovereignty over being right. Okay. And also make sure that you connect and spread your love with everybody in your life. Make sure that they know how much you appreciate them, and stay connected with the people who are important to you, because this is going to be a very important thing as we roll forward into the future. So shine on, darlings. Thank you for being here. I'm Christina, the acceleration expert. Thank you, Lori, for being here too. I really appreciate your help. All right, guys. So with that, shine on, go into your world. I will see you guys next time. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.